any police departments. I serviced all of those. I was just kind of their person that they would come to, Southern
See what
California,
happens when you
Madison.
let a woman in a man's world?
It's wild.
Everything gets better. Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us for The Few Podcast. This is Robert Schein, host of The Few Podcast, with my co-host, Madison Evans. Hi, Madison.
Hi, Rob.
Thank you for being here today.
Of course.
It's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time. We're in the middle of basically season 3, Follow the Money, and episode number 8, You're Worth It. So you are worth it. So follow along, and thanks for tuning in.
And this episode's worth listening to.
So we're bringing in Veneisha Foster today, the general manager of BMW of Palm Springs, owned by the Indigo Auto Group.
Let's bring our guest in.
Only if you move out of that chair into this chair. Well, we're here with our guest today, Veneisha Foster. Welcome to the podcast studio.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We're excited to have you. Madison's going to ask all of the tough questions. I'm just going to start off with all the softballs. So that's normally how we sort of ham and egg it around here, but we want you to enjoy this time together for the next 4 hours. We're going to start at the very beginning. No, actually, the question that we want to start out with is, tell us about yourself.
I was born and raised here in the Coachella Valley, Desert Regional Medical Center.
You're a native of the Coachella Valley, and now you're back in the Coachella Valley. There's not too many of those around here, right?
No, I don't think so.
Right.
I feel like everybody always goes, "Wow, you've just stayed here your whole life." I'm like, yeah, I love it here.
That's incredible. My wife was relocated here, born in St. Louis, relocated at 4 months old. So she can't technically claim that, but she's been here her whole life as well. She's one of very few of people. I was in Phoenix, Arizona, born and raised, relocated to this desert, just closer to the beach, same weather, same temperature.
Climate, yeah. So no acclimating that you had to worry about. If you ever get used to that, right? I always tell people you don't ever get used to it. Every summer again, you're like shocked
I think
all
the
over.
older you get, the hotter the summers get.
Yeah.
I think as we get older, but
I love it. I love
we
the
have
summers.
to figure it. Yeah, I didn't mind it, especially when you go into a movie theater and you come out in the middle of summer.
It's like an oven.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about your childhood. What was that like? And tell us about growing up.
Yeah, so I grew up a single mom. She worked a waitress job, and I had a sister. We were 6 years apart. She worked very hard to make sure that we had everything that we needed to have, and just kind of watching her going through life and seeing how hard it was to raise 2 kids on her own, putting in the hard work. It did really bring a certain value to me as far as work ethic goes. She set the pace for what that looks like. So she worked very hard, sometimes even 2 jobs. So she did what she had to do to make sure that we were well taken care of.
That's fantastic to have your mom and just modeling the behavior of who, the hard work and providing for her daughters and doing it all by herself, right?
Yeah.
But actually being that rock, as moms truly are.
All the time.
That's awesome.
And so much love. I mean, always so much love. I always tell everybody that's where I get the compassion from. My mom just had always had so much love in her heart, no matter what it was. So
that's fantastic.
Growing up, did you know that you wanted to go into the auto industry, or did you go down a different path and then end up there?
Oh gosh, no. I don't know if any young girl is thinking, man, I really want to be in automotive.
Good question.
But nope, that wasn't where it started. I wanted to be a lawyer.
Okay.
For a very long time. I mean, probably since elementary school, I just was set on wanting to be a lawyer. I loved it. I loved doing debate. That's kind of where my heart was set.
Did you go down that path?
I kind of did. In high school, I worked at a frozen yogurt shop, and I was serving some customers one day, and this woman had come in, and she says, "Hey, I've been in here a few times. I really like your personality. We're looking for somebody to help our office." And I said, "Oh, okay. Well, what do you do?" And she goes, "Well, I'm a family law attorney." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And she goes, "Do you have a resume?" And I was like, "Oh, no, I don't have a resume." And she goes, "Okay, that's okay. What if I help you make a resume? Can I help you make a resume?
Wow.
And then would you apply? Would you apply to this position?" And I said, yeah, I would love that. I'd be super honored to be able to do that. So she helped me make a cover letter. She helped me with my resume. We put it all together, presented it to her boss at the time, and she helped me get that job.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's special. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. So then I worked there for maybe a little over a year and a half. And I had a boyfriend at the time, which I don't know about you guys, but when I was younger, I was like much smarter than what I am now. I knew so many more things back then. Yeah.
Yes, I understand where you're going with this.
Yeah. So the law office was even talking about maybe sending me to school to become a paralegal. I was really doing well there. I loved it. But I did have a boyfriend at the time who got scholarship to play football in West Virginia. And that was like a way better decision to leave the law office job that I had been wanting to do my whole life, go to West Virginia with the boyfriend, right? So left the law office job, unfortunately, but I think it worked out pretty well.
Definitely. So how did you end up from Virginia back here to BMW?
But what happened was about 9 months into school, he had gotten offered to play arena football. And so he needed to be there in like 2 days. And I basically got left in West Virginia to just have to figure out how to get back home. Yeah, it was kind of rough. So I was 19 at the time, and I mean, I didn't know as much as I thought I knew, right? So I flew my mom and my sister out to come get me, and we got in my 2-door car, and I packed my clothes, and I came back to the desert.
That's a long drive.
Yeah, it's a very long drive. It was kind of cool, I guess, to spend that time with my mom and my sister.
Yeah.
You'll never get it back. We had like fun. We still talk about some crazy things that happened on that road test. It was pretty wild, but so much fun.
So now you're back in the desert.
Back in the desert.
And then where'd you go from there?
So from there, I was just looking for anything at that point. I called the old law office back and I was like, hey, it's probably a long shot, but just wondering. They were like, I'm so sorry. Like, we don't have anything. And I was like, okay, that understandable. I get it. And I had found a position available. Mercedes Palm Springs was hiring for a receptionist. So I went and I interviewed for the job, and they said, you know, you have another position available. It pays a little bit more, and you're definitely way qualified for it. So we have a cashier position available at BMW. Would you want to take that job? I was like, oh, more money? Yeah, I just need money right now. Like, I need a job. At that point, it didn't matter what it was. So I took the job at BMW. I was at BMW for about 2.5 years, and I started learning a lot there, learning the processes, getting to know the customers. People were knowing me by name because I'd been there for a while. I was watching the service advisors do kind of what they did, and I was just thinking, man, I could do this job. Like, I think like I need something more. Let me be a part of that, right? So I had went to our service manager and I was like, I'm very interested in becoming a service advisor. What do I need to do? How do I do that? And it was kind of more. It was a long time ago. I mean, it was 20 years ago, and it was more of like, well, women don't really do that job, you know. It's more of a
you're in a man's world right now.
Yeah, right. So, but I mean, if you want to work in the business office, and I was like, oh, I don't want to work in the business office. I want to be in front of people. Like, I think that's great. Business office does sound like a great job, but you don't really get to experience the people and the relationships that.
Right.
Meeting everybody. And so I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I really want to be a service advisor. He's like, I just don't know if that's going to be the right fit. I was like, okay. So I had seen like a couple people that were like coming in and they would get hired. And I was like, missed my chance. Well, then finally, one of the service advisors that had worked there got an offer as a manager at the Ford dealership. And he goes, hey, you want to be a service advisor, right? And I was like, yeah, like, you know, I want to do this very badly. And he goes, well, come with me. I'll make you be a service advisor. And I was like, you'll hire me as a service advisor? And he's like, yeah, come with me. And I was like, okay. Mm-hmm. So I left BMW and I went to, it was Fiesta Ford. I was only there for a couple of months until the manager at Palm Springs Motors had come and needed somebody. And for me, Palm Springs Motors was closer to home. So it was like, oh, I would love, instead of having to drive to India, which sounds so crazy. It's so far away. But
Right. We say that in the desert all the time, though.
We're so spoiled.
We judge our, like, well, I don't know if I can make that trip.
Yeah.
It's 20 minutes.
It's
You're fine.
20 minutes and I can drive 5 minutes. Like, I'm in.
Sold.
So, yeah. So then I had, so I was only at Fiesta Ford for a couple of months, but then I went to Palm Springs Motors and I was there for about 9 years.
Awesome. And in Palm Springs Motors, you not only did well, but you excelled, right? You were top 1%, super elite, group, if you will, across the nation in terms of service and what you've been able to accomplish. So you weren't just in, the world, if you will. You were dominating, right? You were at the top of the game.
Yeah, it felt definitely really good. I was top 1% in Ford and Lincoln for customer service. And then I was also on a service advisor panel for Ford Motor Company. So they flew us to Detroit every 4 months and we got to sit on a panel for a few days and they would present stuff to us and kind of like have us pick it apart, like tell us where the flaws are, what could we work on?
That's really cool.
Yeah, so cool. They were always looking for ways to build, which was a great company to work for, but I definitely did, learn a lot there and grew a lot. I helped most of the local fleet companies out here, so any police departments, I serviced all of those. I was just kind of their person that they would come to, Southern California.
See what happens
Madison.
when you let a woman in a man's world?
It's wild.
Everything gets better.
Incredible. Yeah.
Everything gets better.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It was great.
Hi, everyone. It's Robert Schein, the creator of the Society of the Few, as well as the Confidence Summit. I created the Confidence Summit with one goal in mind: to give women the tools, confidence, and the community to lead powerfully in their financial lives. On February 28, 2026, we're taking over the beautiful Ritz-Carlton Rancho Mirage for a full day in transformational learning, wellness, and connection. You'll hear from inspiring women at the top of their fields, gain financial clarity you deserve, and surround yourself with a community that lifts you higher. If you're ready to own your financial future, join us. Visit societyofthefew.org and reserve your seat today. I can't wait to welcome you.
So how did you go from that position to your current position as GM?
I thought I was going to work at Ford forever. It was just my home. I loved it there. I was learning so much. I was doing great. I was extremely comfortable, which I now know that I don't like to be comfortable.
Driver personality.
Yeah. Yep. So I had asked if I could, when I was working at Ford, I started creating a family and I was pregnant with my second at that time. And I had asked if there could be some time where I could kind of maybe come in a little bit later in the day by 30 minutes or so I could do my daughter's hair in the morning or kind of help get my kids ready. Because at that point I was leaving for work before my family was even awake. So my husband was doing everything. I mean, he was getting the kids ready for school, making them breakfast, taking them to school, making sure everything was done, and then also picking them up at the end of the day. He had to do it all, and he carried all that load. So I'm like, let me just have a little bit. And so I had asked to be able to come in 30 minutes late, maybe one day a week. And they, unfortunately, we can't do that for you. If we did that for you, we would have to do that for everyone. And I was like, okay, that's really unfortunate. And just trying to juggle, right? Working so much, but then also being a mom should take priority. And then I felt like my work was kind of always taking the priority because it was, unfortunately. And I was trying to make that shift of being better than that and figuring out a way. So my feelings were hurt by the no, of course. And then I had got called. So the service manager at BMW and I still had a pretty close relationship. It was a different manager than the first one at that time. And my husband also works at BMW. So we kind of just have a close relationship. And he would call me every couple of months hey, you want to come work for BMW? You're crazy. I'm never leaving Ford. But then I got that no, right? And it hit me. It hit me in just the right kind of way. And he called me and he was asking me a question. It wasn't really related to a job at all. I don't remember exactly what it was, but very random. And then ends the phone call with, "You ready to come work for me yet?"
Yeah.
And I was like, actually, I might be ready. So maybe set up a meeting with your GM and let's see. And so there they started that 30 minutes that I wanted once a week, every day.
Fantastic.
Oh, wow.
Every day, because they started later. And I was like,
Again, you can't get that time back too.
You can't.
Right?
You can't. Not at all. It was perceived to be a pay cut at that time, but at that point, it was more important to me.
Invaluable.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. You can't put a price on that. So I left Ford and I went to BMW and I started there as a service advisor. 4 months into me being there at BMW, I quit.
No.
I know.
Why?
I know. It, the manager wasn't really who I thought he was, which was unfortunate because he has always been so kind to me. And he had come to me at one point and tells me, you are taking in too many customers. Like, you're writing too much a day for the shop. Like, the shop can't keep up with it. And I was like, oh, well, I'm used to writing 25 cars a day. Like,
Yeah. So again, driver, high performer.
Yeah.
Don't make your problem my problem.
Right.
Like, you're supposed to be doing that for them.
Yes. Hire more technicians.
That's revenue.
Like, it sounds like we're going to be able to make
To the
so much more
dealership.
money. Yeah.
Right.
Like, maybe hire more technicians, let them keep
Oh, you're making
up.
everybody work.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it was.
Keep them in their stalls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So it just got really weird. And he had, even at one point, was just like, are you trying to get my job? And I was like, oh, no. I do not want your
wow.
job. Yeah, I don't want anything
Saw
to
you as
do.
a threat.
Yeah, I don't want anything to do with any of that, because if I had your job, I would have to work more. And the whole reason I came here was to not do that. Like, I
Right.
love this schedule. I don't want your job. And then at that point, I was like, he had done me a favor by hiring. It kind of felt like I just wanted to keep a good relationship. So I'm like, I'm going to leave. It's not it.
So when you left, they had to take 4 months to catch up with all the work orders that you put through in the service department.
Yeah, right.
And theoretically, you did them a favor, and then they hired you back, and then
Yeah.
you just kept adding more to the pile so they could. I'm just kidding.
So I never left.
Oh,
is
okay.
what happened. So it was, I had given my 2 weeks notice proper, as
Okay.
I should, right? Went crying back to Ford. So sorry, I made a mistake. Please hire me back. And it was Wednesday. My last day was going to be that Friday. So that Wednesday, he's our CEO now. He's the president of our company, Kelly Wolf. But at that time, he was COO, and he flies in from Houston, Texas, because that's where kind of our main area is. That's where it all started. And he just is sitting at my desk. And I'm on the phone with a customer, and we have an internal messaging system, and everybody's like, why is Kelly at your desk? What's going on? And I'm like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's at my desk. And so I hang up the phone and I go, hi. And he goes, hi, I'm Kelly Wolf. Nice to meet you. And I was like, oh, yeah, I know who you are.
Oh, that's funny.
It was so cute. And so he goes, yeah, so just, you think I could get like 10 minutes of your time? And I was like, I think you have the wrong person. My last day here is Friday. I'm not,
Right.
I don't think I'm maybe somebody else you're looking for. And he's like, oh no, it's you. And I was like, oh, no thanks. And he's like, no thanks. Like, I can't have 10 minutes. And I was like, no, I'm leaving. Like, I don't think there's any value that I can add to whatever
You're not even
we're going
willing
to talk
take a
about.
10-minute meeting?
No, I was so terrified. I was like, this guy has
I'd be curious.
this high level position.
But I understand.
Yeah. Well, now, I mean,
He
at
flew
that
in to see
point-
you. You know that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. At that point, I did not.
That's funny.
Handwriting's on the wall, but at that moment in time, you're like, no way.
No, yeah, I'm just like a little service advisor from Palm Springs, a small little cool town. Like, I'm not this cool guys flying in.
So what happened?
I finally said yes. He convinced me. And like 2 hours later, for a 10-minute conversation, he goes, look, I want to offer you the service manager position. And I was like, I just don't. I don't think that I can do that. I came here to work less. Like, and he goes, well, tell me the other setbacks. What are they? What's going on? And so it's like, I've only been a service advisor. Like, I don't know how to be a manager. And he goes, no, you do. You do, because you're telling me all the things that are wrong with my department right now, which means you probably have an idea
1,000%.
of how to
Yeah.
fix it. I was like,
He knows talent.
I guess. Yeah, he's
yeah.
pretty incredible. He goes, look, why don't you just tell me what it's going to take to make it happen? I'm probably going to do that, and we'll both be happy. And I was like,
Oh, wow.
oh, Yeah, it was
Did I say
wild.
I was leaving Friday?
Yeah, I know, right? But I had no idea. I didn't know how much money that position made. I didn't know what I was supposed to be asking for.
Right.
So all I found was I called my old boss because I was supposed to be starting with him that Monday, right? And I said, hey, so this just happened. And he goes, well, it doesn't surprise me. And he goes, look, Veneisha, I think that if you thought that you couldn't do it, you wouldn't be calling me. I would just see you here on Monday. But you should know that you can, and that's why you are calling me. So take the job.
That's awesome.
And I was like, ooh. And then his wife was on speakerphone. She's like, yeah, take the job. I mean, I was with them for 9
so
years,
cool.
right?
That's awesome.
So it was really cool. And I was like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, but okay. Okay, so I needed to find out what the current service manager was making, and I was able to kind of get that insight. And so I just added like $20,000 on top of that. I don't know why that was the number, but I was like, if he can make that, I should make 20,000 more for some reason. So I remember like ripping off a piece of paper. This is how, it's so funny how different things would be now. And I like wrote what I would want. And that's what I gave to Kelly Wolf, the president of our company. I said, okay, this, like we had a meeting again a Friday after, and I said, okay, this is what it would take. And he looks at it and he goes, where'd you get that? And I was like, that's just what it would take for me to stay. And he goes, all right, we have a deal. And I was like, oh man, I should have asked for more money. But at that point I had basically doubled my salary overnight and it was, I was in full panic mode, and it just started from there. And
what a great story. And one of the 7 keys, art of negotiation, right here.
Yeah.
So I have 7 keys to financial wellness. And
Love
one
that.
of the keys is art of negotiation, right? So you're negotiating from the minute you wake up in the morning out of bed and fighting your alarm clock, to kids and all of their requests, to everything from coworkers to life.
Yeah.
And then every once in a while you go buy a car. And that's when the true negotiating starts.
That's my favorite part. That's so
true.
much fun. It brings so much joy to everyone, I think. I think that's kind of the most fun for...
I'll tell you a little fun fact here. In the Schein household, my wife does the negotiating for all the cars and all the autos, because I just have, it's like my kryptonite. I just can't, and I know the numbers. I'm a numbers guy. I know the facts. I just can't. I'm like, listen, black and white, A to B, but she loves the game. Like her dad brought her in, and taught her about cars, and would always go to the auto dealership and had her, right beside him, and her dad loves the art of negotiation on an auto dealership. And I'm like, no, I don't like it at all. So I send her in.
So smart.
And then she beats everybody up, and then she's happy, I'm happy, and the dealership's not happy. So we're good.
It works. It works. You know what the difference is when women do it? Normally, women don't have as much of a tie to the car.
That makes sense.
As the
interesting.
man does. So a female will normally have no problem walking away if they don't get what they want. Where most of the time the guys they've built like more of a connection, which is so weird to make it be that way, but they have kind of built more of a connection of like, this is what I want. I found it. I've been looking everywhere.
That totally makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
So while we're on that topic real quick, what other advice would you give in the world of somebody looking for automobile or women in negotiating? Some of the things that you would impart your advice, your experiences, your wisdom and knowledge on our audience or even future generations.
Yeah, definitely do your research. It's very important. We have so many items at our fingertips now that we can use to do that. Paying attention, especially on a pre-owned vehicle, that those cars are in really good shape, because you normally don't know where you get them from. Like, we pride ourselves big time on our pre-owned selections, because most of our cars are born and raised in the desert, right? So you don't have to worry about rust.
You
don't
serviced
have to
them from day one off the lot, so you know they're garage kept and you know the owners.
Exactly.
I understand that. Okay.
So ask for the background of the car if you're doing a pre-owned car, so you kind of know what it's been through. I think that that's very important. And then as far as new cars go, I mean, keep your credit in line. That's always going to get you the better credit rate, right? I think a lot of us also don't like to ask for help. That's very hard for anybody to do, is to ask for help. But if you have a family member that's willing to co-sign that might have a better credit score than you, ask for the help and do that. I think that we're kind of limited on that.
So what's the credit score that like will get you the best deals?
So at BMW, it's going to be different, I think, for every...
720, 740?
740 is the number. Yep. And most people are surprised that their credit score is actually higher than they think it is when they come in.
How can you get your credit score without doing a hard inquiry or soft inquiry?
So you can use Credit Karma, but Credit Karma is normally not accurate when it comes to automotive. A lot of banks offer it through their banking system, and they have kind of the FICO score check that you can do. So I would say check that. Otherwise, it is generally a hard inquiry.
How are we doing in the auto industry right now with today's economy, all the tariff uncertainty? Did you see a big pause in consumer behavior this year? Do you see anything accelerating now that we have like interest rates now on the decline?
Yeah, I am very fortunate. There are other brands that are not as fortunate, but BMW is extremely customer focused. For instance, on the electric cars, we lost the $7,500 rebate, right? But BMW kept that, and they're subsidizing it for the customers, even though they're not getting those funds back from the government. They're still deciding.
I didn't know that. That's good information.
Yeah. So we did have a small lull of people not knowing. I think everybody just assumed it was gone. So it did take a lot of marketing and advertising to say, no, BMW loves you. We still they still care. Like they're still willing to offer you this, on top of loyalty incentives too. So they kind of stacked them. And now the low interest rates, 0.9%.
It's incredible.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to run right over there right after this podcast and see what the inventory looks like.
Yeah,
we have
definitely.
a great inventory. We have some cool colors too. That's something that I like about our stores, because we are in Palm Springs, so we don't we don't have all of your traditional white on beige or black on black. Well, you don't really probably want to do too much black on black out here on the desert. But just that's what makes it fun too at our store, fun colors.
So you basically started in the very first position that you can get at a car dealership, and now you're the GM. What is it like being the GM and going from the starting position to where you're at now?
It is very exciting. It's also very overwhelming, but in kind of the best way possible. Like, I feel like overwhelming can be kind of a negative statement, but it's so exciting to be a part of it and learning. And just when you think like you know everything about the dealership, because I've been in all the roles. I mean, I've been on the service side, I've been on the sales side, I've done all of it. Just when you think you kind of like, oh, I know what I'm doing, I've got this. And then taking this new position, I was like, I had no idea that there was like so many other things that I didn't know about. So then it also gives a different respect to your boss, where you're like, oh, okay, so there was so much more behind, that they were doing. Because I don't know about you, but sometimes you just kind of think like, oh my gosh, what are they doing? They're on their computer and I have like this fire going on outside.
Right.
And then you're like, there's so much. So much more, but I love it. It's an incredible company to work for. I think it could be so much different if you were working for a different company, but it all starts from the top down. So having somebody that cares so much, and then my managing director has been an incredible mentor throughout all of it. And then my husband, I mean, being so supportive and allowing me the time and helping me give myself grace. There have been a few times where I'm like, what was I thinking? Why did I make this decision? What is going on right now? And he goes, I'm just going to tell you something. You would make this decision all over again. You would pick the same because you were comfortable and you don't like that. Yeah. And that's like, you would do it again. Like, you're right. I would do it again.
So I heard that before you took the general manager position, you were offered it previously, but you didn't take it?
Kind of, yes.
Okay.
We started talking about it a little bit, as far as my boss knew that this was going to be the direction that I wanted to go, because I'm always kind of looking for that next step. And he was saying like, okay, this is going to be it. This was when I was parts and service director. And I said, okay, I mean, that sounds great, but I need to be a sales manager first. before I take that job.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. And he goes, okay, but you don't. And I was like, well, that's really nice, but I do, because I feel like in order to coach somebody through and really understand the grind of the other position, you have to do it. Yeah. You have to do it for a while, and hopefully you become good at it, and then you can teach,
that's awesome,
the successors behind
you. Saw the bigger
you
picture.
To
That's
do
very
it.
important.
So I felt like I needed it in order to be great at it. You know?
That's, I think, from a business ownership, entrepreneur standpoint, or just a leadership standpoint, having that vision early on and seeing, okay, no, you just don't go here to here. You could, and there's that opportunity, and you had that opportunity, but to be great up here and excel from here on up, you have to sit in every seat.
Yeah.
And experience it. And I actually say that to Madison and our team all the time, especially when I started in this industry. I did every position. Even though I was a financial advisor, I opened up my own accounts. I did everything, and they're like, no, we have somebody to open up accounts for you. I'm like, no, I need to understand how this works for a multitude of reasons. And then you appreciate that position. You know how to excel in that position. You know what it's like in that. You could, appreciate that person in that position.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy.
Right.
I mean, all those dynamics. And then, oh, by the way, when somebody, and you're not in that position moving forward, but somebody comes to you in that position, you truly can say with compassion, I understand.
Yes.
Right. And I see where the sand's in the gears, and here's how I personally, remove that. And maybe you can make those suggestions. You could totally relate. That's really, really great that you did that.
Yeah. It helps. And I think it helps everybody. And then you do develop more of a passion for it and more of an understanding, I think. So.
Fantastic. Yeah. So really great interview today. And I appreciate your time, Veneisha. And so we've got a Palm Springs Life 40 Under 40 with us today. Obviously, by just listening to your life story right now and your motivation, that's only the beginning, right? And you're general manager of one of the biggest auto dealerships out here in the community here. And again, that's only the beginning. Two things. What advice would you give to women out there? I've got 3 daughters myself, college age. And so I would always love to hear or have you say to them, because they're not going to listen to dad. That's why we're why we're doing this, by the way.
Makes sense.
Advice to my daughters and our audience out there, and then what's next for Veneisha?
So I think most importantly for people to know is that you're worth it. Take the risk, right? Bet on yourself, because you're not going to let you down. You're going to do whatever it takes.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love that too.
What's next?
What's next?
Wow. I don't know.
Because you don't sit still.
No.
You always have to have the wheels spinning.
Yeah.
Burning some rubber, right?
I know. I did start like a small little, I became a part of an advisory committee, and then my husband kind of made a joke of like, oh, because you're not busy enough, right? We're just going to keep adding. And
that's what busy people do.
I want to give back. I want to do something great, right? So I just kind of started on that for JFK Memorial Foundation. But then next, we have managing directors that oversee multiple stores within our auto group. That would definitely be a direction for me to go. But we're growing at such a fast pace. It's hard to know what else might even be out there. So time will tell, I suppose.
Well, we'll stay tuned. We'll follow along. And then when the next thing hits, you're going to have to come back. And don't forget the few podcasts.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so exciting. Love to be back.
Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Wow, that was a great episode.
That was awesome. Fantastic. Veneisha was amazing. Her whole story, including, when she went back and talked about her mom modeling the behavior of just being such a great role model for her and a driver. And then now she's just been a dynamo and nothing can stop her. Look where she is today. But I think there's going to be higher highs moving forward because she's unstoppable.
Yeah. Every setback, she just came back stronger, and she always had such a great support system.
And a great message for our audience. Yeah.
As we always close the episodes, we have a couple quotes. The first is by Maya Angelou. We may encounter many defeats, but we must not be defeated. And our second quote is by Harriet Beecher Stowe. Never give up, for that is just the place and time that the tide will turn.
Thanks again for tuning in. Like and subscribe and share with a family member or just a friend that could really benefit from this episode today. Thanks again for watching.
This podcast is brought to you by David Field, producer. It is produced and directed by David Field and Kristen George, and its mix, edit, and socials by Kristen George. Schein Wealth Management is a group of investment professionals registered with Hightower Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC, and with Hightower Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor with the SEC. Securities are offered through Hightower Securities, LLC. Advisory services are offered through Hightower Advisors, LLC. This is not an offer to buy or sell securities. No investment process is free of risk, and there is no guarantee that the investment process or the investment opportunities referenced herein will be profitable. Past performance is not indicative of current or future performance and is not a guarantee. The investment opportunities referenced herein may not be suitable for all investors. All data and information referenced herein are from sources believed to be reliable. Any opinions, news, research, analysis, prices, or other information contained in this research is provided as general market commentary. It does not constitute investment advice. Schein Wealth Management and Hightower shall not in any way be liable for claims and make no expressed or implied representations or warranties as to the accuracy or completeness of the data and other information, or for statements or errors contained in or omissions from the obtained data and information referenced herein. The data and information are provided as of the date referenced. Such data and information are subject to change without notice. This document was created for informational purposes only. The opinions expressed are solely those of Schein Wealth Management and do not represent those of Hightower Advisors, LLC, or any of its affiliates.